Good afternoon. Welcome to Africa Today. I am Wisdom Onizi. First, the headlines. Nigerian presidency tackles Kukal for tagging Tinubu accidental leader. Akufo-Addo says Mahama is a failed president, urges Ghanaians to give Buamia a chance. Thousands march against Angola government. And on sport, Leicester City sack manager Steve Cooper. Now the news in details. The Nigerian presidency over the weekend said President Bola Tinubu is prepared for the nation's highest office and does not belong in the category of accidental leaders. Onanuga was responding to comment by Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Koka, who said many of Nigerian leaders, including President Tinubu, were accidental leaders who assumed without adequate preparation in a rapidly evolving world. The presidential spokesman argued that Tinubu had shown a reformer's attitude and saying reforms are not done in quick fixes, adding that it takes time for things to turn around. Away from that, the Independent National Electoral Commission over the weekend lambasted the People's Democratic Party governors over allegations that it manipulated the Edo State governorship election held on September 21, 2024. INEC had declared Monday Webelo of All Progressive Congress as the winner with 291,667 votes, while the PDP candidate, Asue Igadolo, secured 247,274 votes. Rising from its Day 2 meeting in Jos, Plateau State over the weekend, the PDP Governors Forum maintained its stance, insisting that electoral irregularities denied its candidate victory in Edo and alleged vote buying in Ondo. Well, have you know that Edo State Governor Monday Webelo has approved the creation of 14-member State Asset Verification Committee to review the assets and liabilities handed over by his predecessor, Godwin Obaseki. According to a statement by Webelo's Chief Press Secretary, Fred Itwa, the committee was necessary due to the scanty and limited information provided by the previous administration during the transition period. However, Obaseki media aide Crocell Osage dismissed the move as a laughable and diversionary tactic aimed at masking Governor Obabelo's alleged lack of readiness to govern. Osage said the so-called State Asset Verification Committee is just another smokescreen in a series of meaningless probes initiated by the governor, who has shown he is unprepared for the responsibility of governance. Now when we return, news from other parts of West Africa. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv.
Welcome back. Now news from other parts of West Africa. Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo has expressed strong confidence in Vice President Mahamudu Biamwa, describing him as a capable and well-prepared leader poised to guide Ghana to greater achievement. The president believes that Biamwa has the necessary skills and experience to lead the nation to new heights. President Akufo-Addo criticized former President John Dramani Mahama, labeling him a failed leader who does not deserve a second opportunity at the presidency. He argued that Mahama's previous term was not successful and that Ghana would be better served with the fresh leadership under Bawumia. The president called on Ghanaians to support Bawumia's presidential campaign, citing his extensive experience in governance and his clear vision for Ghana's development. Now we move to other parts of Africa after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now news from other parts of Africa. The U.S. Special Envoy for Sudan said just days after his first visit to the war-wrecked country since taking his post, said that he doesn't see enough of political appetite from the warring parties to resolve the conflict. The African nation plunged into conflict in mid-April 2023 when long-simmering tensions between its military and paramilitary leaders broke out in the capital of Khartoum and spread to other regions, including Western Darfur.
We do not yet see enough political appetite from the parties to find a real resolution to this conflict, which of course at the end of the day has got to be about handing control back to the people, as was the heart of the revolution in 2019, and continue the work of building an integrated professional national military, which I know the SAF leadership wants to see.
The fighting has left tens of thousands dead, forced millions from their homes, and pushed large swaths of the population to starvation. Tom Peralose, who was appointed as special envoy in February, traveled to Port Sudan to meet the Sudanese officials, including the head of paramilitary, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, whose troops have been battling the rival paramilitary rapid support forces around the country for the past 19 months. Multiple attempts to broker a ceasefire has been falling apart, most recently in August when the Sudanese military refused to attend U.S.-mediated talks in Geneva. Since then, fighting has only accelerated, and RSF forces have been accused by the United Nations of carrying out atrocities, including killings of civilians and rapes in several parts of the country. Away from that, several thousand Angolan opposition supporters in the capital, Luanda, protested against the government over the weekend in the first large demonstration since 2022 disputed vote. Closely supervised by police, some 4,000 people marched peacefully with the banners criticizing the ruling People Movement for the Liberation of Angola and President João Lourenço. The protest was organized by the National Union for the Total Independence of Angola party, whose popularity has been growing in recent years. Up next is business. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now to business news. A showdown looms in the House of Representatives this week between lawmakers elected on the platform of the ruling party and their opposition counterpart over the $2.2 million that is 1.77 trillion naira loan request by President Bola Tinubu. This is as the deputy spokesperson of the House, Philip Abese, has declared that the Green Chambers will have no trouble approving external borrowing requests from President Bola Tinubu. Deputy spokesman of the Green House Chamber, Congressman Philip Abese, has said President Tinubu's loan request was contained in a letter transmitted to the Parliament and read by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, during Tuesday's plenary. If approved, the President said the loan would fund 9.7 trillion naira deficit in the 2024 budget. Away from that, the monthly spending of the federal government on electricity subsidy obligation has reached 1.91 trillion naira in the first 11 months of 2024. A new report by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has disclosed. It also stated that power distribution companies collected a total revenue of 1.23 trillion naira, during the first 9 months of 2024, exceeding the total revenue generation of 1.8 trillion naira in the 2023. An analysis of figures from the power sector regulatory monthly supplementary order posted on its website on Sunday indicated that electricity subsidies contained an increase every quarter throughout the year, despite the elimination of subsidies for the Band A customers. The amount incurred between January and November 2024 represent an increase of 204.15% or 1.283 trillion naira from 628.61 trillion naira recorded in 2023. Let's also have you know that the International Monetary Fund (IMF) reaffirmed its support for Egypt's reform effort as the country continues to navigate economic challenges exacerbated by regional tensions. Speaking in Washington, D.C., IMF Communication Director Juliet Kozak emphasized Egypt's commitment to key reforms aimed at preserving macroeconomic stability.
I think, as you know, the managing director had a very constructive visit to Egypt, which underscored the IMF's support for Egypt's resilience and reform efforts to maintain economic stability. But at the same time, there are, as you know, a lot of tensions in the region. The economic outlook for Egypt, therefore, does remain challenging. And the authorities have taken key reforms, they've implemented key reforms to preserve macroeconomic stability.
The IMF mission recently concluded a visit to Egypt, making significant progress on policy discussion for the fourth review of the country's 46-month loan program. Approved in 2022 and expanded to $8 billion earlier this year, the program seeks to address Egypt's economic crisis, marked by soaring inflation and foreign currency shortages. If the review is completed, it would unlock $1.2 billion in additional financing for Egypt. Still to come is sport. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, Poker.
Welcome back now to Sport News. Super Falcons caretaker coach Justin Madugu has unveiled his squad for the international friendly against France. Goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadoziel, Ashley Promptel, Osinachil Ohale, and Michel Alonzier are some of the regulars included in the squad. Versatile midfielder Tony Pine, Tosin Domehin, and Ifoma Onumenu will also be on the plane to France. Captain Rishadat Adjebadel was excluded from the friendly because of injury. There was, however, no place for Bay FC striker Asiat Oshala in the squad. Some players were also handed the Almeida invitation for the friendly. The friendly is billed for the Stade Raymond Corpal Angels on Saturday, November 30th. The encounter will kick off at 9:30 p.m. Still on sport news, where we'll have you know that Rangers head coach Ekene Dilichukwu Eke said his team Oriental Derby draw against Heartland was a fair result. Eke disclosed this to the media after the game at the Dan Ayam Stadium on Saturday. He admitted that the encounter was intense. Leicester City have fired Steve Coppell as their manager. The Premier League club confirmed this in a statement over the weekend. The Foxes also announced the first team coach Ben Dawson will take over training imminently. Coppell has been dismissed a day after Leicester lost 2-1 to Chelsea at the King Power Stadium. Leicester City sit 16th in the Premier League after 12 games. And that's your sport news on Africa Today, but we move to the rest of the news after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now the rest of the news. More than 80 people have been killed and 156 wounded in 3 days of sectarian violence in Pakistan tribal district of Quran near the Afghanistan border, authorities confirmed. The violence, which began on Thursday, erupted when gunmen attacked convoys of Shia Muslims traveling under police escort. More than 40 people, including women and children, were killed in that incident, triggering a series of revenge attacks between Shia and Sunni communities. After Sunday's negotiations, government spokesman Mohammed Ali Sanif announced that Sunni and Shia leaders had agreed to a 7-day ceasefire. Provincial officials facilitated the talks despite reports that the negotiators' helicopter came under fire upon arriving in the region. The clashes and convoy attacks on November 21st, 22nd and 23rd has resulted in 82 fatalities and 156 injuries, a local official said over the weekend. Among the dead, 16 were Sunni and 66 were Shia, according to local authorities. The Quran district has been a flashpoint for tribal and sectarian conflict over land disputes, with sporadic violence between Shia and Sunni groups. This week's unrest has forced hundreds of residents to flee, many seeking refuge in nearby mountains under freezing conditions. And that's Africa Today. But before we go, here are the headlines once again, which brought to you that Nigerian presidency tackles Kukal for tagging Tinubu accidental leader. We informed you that Akufo-Addo says Mahama is a failed president, urges Ghanaians